Hello all you beautiful people out there. I hope you've had or are having a fantastic day. If you're new around here, welcome. My name is Sal. I'm the teenager who talks about teenage stuff because there simply isn't enough of it on the internet. If you guys are new around here, I'd appreciate it so much if you hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. It really helps to support the channel. You guys have been doing great over the past few days, so keep it up, guys. Thank you so much. As you might have seen by the past couple videos that I've put on the channel, I'm well into the crux of my exam period. It's getting pretty hectic. This got me thinking, how am I able to sit at my desk for like 3/4 of the day and just crank out at some work? Like, it's pretty tough and it's pretty like mind-numbingly boring at sometimes, but it works. And why does it work? Well, it kind of boils down to productivity. Over the past few years, and especially during this exam period, I think I've come up with a few tips and tricks and some of the ideas about productivity that you may have heard that might not be entirely true. And in today's video, I'm going to tell you about all of that. Some of the things that I do on a daily basis and how I really look at productivity in order to make it less of a chore and more of something you actually want to do. Before we begin with the traditional list of things that I've come up with, there's something you need to know. And that is, what is your relationship with productivity going to be like? You can either have a forceful approach where you just look at the end goal, or you could have an approach where you look at the journey rather than the end goal. Now both work, don't get me wrong. You could definitely only have the end goal in mind. Maybe you dread the process of getting there, but your motivation to reach that end goal outweighs your dread for that process. Or you could learn to love the process. Now both work, that's for sure. But in my experience, I think the latter works a little bit better because it's more sustainable, especially in the long run. If you learn to enjoy the process, enjoy the journey, it's hard. It's really not as simple as it sounds. The end goal is going to be the final reward, and you'll much rather go on that journey once again, and then it'll just become a habit and you can do it with any task in your life. One of the ways in which you can do this, especially if you're sitting at your desk all day, is something small, but something quite effective that my friends told me about a couple of days ago, which is a virtual cottage. Yes, a virtual cottage. It's an app that you can download right now. It's completely free. And when you open up that app, it opens a virtual little mini simulation of a cottage where it's just a small person working at a desk in a chalet with a cat, and that cat can move around a little bit. It's quite cute. But the point of it is that it plays music in the background. You can actually set a raring fire to be playing so that it has a fire sound effect. You can have the sound of wind or rain or whatever in the background just to kind of seclude you from everything that's going around. And it kind of puts you in the zone. It puts you into a flow state where you can just work at whatever you need to. Now it's only very small and it's quite cute, but surprisingly effective. So if you want, give it a shot. Let me know what you think about it in the comments down below. You can set to-do list tasks, you can set a focus, most of all you can set a timer. It can be quite difficult to work on something for extended periods of time, especially if we're talking in the range of, 5 to 6 hours. That can be quite mind draining. So that's where the virtual cottage comes in handy, especially that timer feature. You can set a 2-hour timer, and then once those 2 hours are up, it'll give you a little ring notification, and that lets you know that you can take your break. We'll be moving on to taking breaks very shortly, but yeah, virtual cottage, give it a shot. Number 2 on this list, I preach this all the time, and it's to make some sort of a to-do list or an exam schedule. If you need a video on how to do that, you can check it out. Top link in the corner right there. Trying to beat out procrastination and trying to be more productive without an aim is quite pointless and quite frankly not possible. Even if you don't think you have an aim, if you know deep inside that you need to get something done or that something's pushing you to do something, you already have that internal aim. But it might be best to write it down on paper and make it tangible. By making it tangible and giving yourself something to look forward to, something to cross off once you finish that piece of work, it makes the process a lot more enjoyable. That's the whole point of productivity. Another small but powerful tip, and if you need a video on how to-do lists actually work, check it out. Top link in the corner right there. Now, although the cat in the virtual cottage is quite adorable, I must admit, nothing beats real people. And that's where your friends come in. Over the past few days, I have had many long study sessions with my friends, and they felt like they've gone past in 5 minutes. Shout out to you guys out there, you know who you are. Bringing in your friends on a Zoom call, solving questions, turning on some music, there's nothing quite like that. There's nothing quite as beneficial to your productivity as working with other people. If you're like me and you like working alone, you know how it is, you go at your own pace. It's quite standard, quite certain, but bring in your friends, trust me, you won't regret it. That element of just overall, fun when working with your friends is unparalleled to anything else out there, so give it a shot. Not to mention the added benefits of working with your friends, such as if you get stuck on a problem, you can ask them in real time right there and they'll be able to get back to you with an answer, build on your other knowledge. And also, talking to other people drastically reduces that stress and anxiety that you feel when you work for long hours at a time. So again, something to make the whole process a lot more enjoyable. Number 5 has something to do with this. Now, don't worry, no phones were harmed in the making of this. Put it away. Put your phone away, especially if you find yourself easily distracted by those notifications. If you simply can't resist checking out that new snap from Susie, well, then it might be worth putting your phone away. I'm not saying you have to do this. Some people need their phone for work. Some people don't get distracted by it at all. Like, I could have my phone there, a couple notifications pop up, and I completely ignore them, which probably isn't the best in hindsight, but oh well. Anyways, moving on to tip number 5, the real number 5, because that was tip number 4. Tip number 5 is to make an enjoyable workspace. If you have things like, for example, LED lights like I have at the back there, if you have a small little plant, just anything that gets you a little bit excited, the aesthetic of your room, try and play around with it. Try and incorporate things into your workspace that make you happy. Doing so will make you fall in love with working at your little station. The productivity will come along with it. Because if there's truly one takeaway of today's video, is that productivity comes along with the things that you change. Don't actively seek productivity. Look at productivity as kind of a byproduct of the things that you change in your life. And number 6, this might be a little bit strange for a lot of you out there, but this is on the subject of breaks. Now, when you are taking a break from your work, I don't want you guys to just sit there on TikTok, aimlessly just consuming media for hours at a time, because those 5 minutes, yeah, they'll turn into a half an hour. And they'll turn into an hour, and then before you know it, it's the end of the day, and those 800 chemistry questions that you wanted to finish, well, you finished 5 of them. That is not going to be you, because instead what you're going to do is, if you are using something like Virtual Cottage, where you can set up that timer, things that we were talking about last time, is you're going to do a little bit of exercise between your working blocks. When you're resting, either go for a quick jog, go for a quick walk. It doesn't have to be outside, just do it in your house. Do 10 push-ups, do 15 push-ups, do a couple sit-ups, whatever you do to get your heart rate up, because when you do elevate your heart rate, you're gonna have a newfound sense of energy. This is very refreshing, especially if you've been sitting at your desk for hours upon hours. Sitting there can be very demotivating and very frustrating, so why not do something beneficial for your health and something that will get you excited, rejuvenated for that next block of work. Trust me, it works. I didn't even do this when I was little, and it was completely innocent. Like, I didn't even know this was a thing. I just kind of run around, just walk around even, and then I'd come back to my homework and it'd all be a lot clearer, a lot easier, and I'd just be a lot more energized. Anyway guys, I hope you've understood that productivity is a journey, and you need to learn to enjoy that journey. Especially if you don't like what you're doing, you need to find ways to enjoy what you're doing. It's all about that sense of happiness, that sense of fulfillment. Try thinking about the journey rather than the end. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you do have any questions for me, leave them down in the comments below. I love reading everything that you guys have to say. If you did enjoy today's video, I'd appreciate it so much if you hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate all the support, especially in the last couple weeks, guys. The channel has been growing like crazy. Thank you all once again. I hope you had a fantastic weekend, and I hope you have a fantastic week to come. I know I'm certainly going to have a lot of exams to endure, but again, that's part of the journey. Anyway guys, stay safe and take care, and I'll see all of you later.